So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Good morning, welcome, and Khush Amdeed to everyone. We are, I think, taking our time. Some guests are arriving, taking some teas and coffees. Feel free, and it's the time for us to have a real good social interaction and enjoy the event. Today's event is going to be really our lasting event of 35 years of history. We have captured the episode 1, we call it, and then hopefully we'll hear from our guest, poet and artist Rubaya. She's here again in Deeplish Community Center, and then eventually we will see the film. Film will be launched, and I think still some our ex-members and the pioneer members are arriving. So we are really fortunate to see this moment working in partnership with many organizations. Today's partners are the Cartwheel Arts, with no doubt, local authority and Heritage England, and of course my colleagues. So may I welcome all of you to this wonderful morning. And without any further ado, we will take time to restart, and everybody's keen. You'll hear from many of our ex-members, you'll see the new members and the work we have commenced over last many years and decades, and has been captured over last year and this year with our great efforts of our local artists, the poets, and the community volunteers. Deeplish is not alone. He's worked with many organizations in the past. I remember working very proactively with the Skylight Circus and the Cartwheel Arts. They were my favorite run. I started as a worker. I can see my place scheme volunteers, the ex-members, ex-leader of the council, ex-member of parliament, ex-councillor Paul Rowan, and of course it's pleasure to work and connect with Paul and take some guidance and see how I fit these standards in the community. And of course, Azra Islam, one of our ex-chairperson, and many other members who they are around here today, so they have featured in our film. So, so I welcome all of you to this very wonderful morning. It's an honor for Deeplish Community Center to host you and, of course, present you as some wonderful events. Since 1989, the Deeplish has grown in physically, and of course in momentum has grown up really well, which means that we have a new primary school, a new children's center, and it becomes short art center now, very led by our great colleagues. And of course, the community centers network has now become consortia, and of course, the local authority is much more connected, in developing skills and employment and volunteering. And of course, I'm really honored to see some of my young volunteers, the cohort, which has now been replaced with maybe me, Paul, Salim, and Arshad, who they were around 20 years ago. So this is the time to reflect. To start our program and welcome, I would welcome Rubaya, our artist and the poet, to give us a start in the morning. Thank you. Can we all welcome Rubaya?
Good morning. This is my second time at Deeplish Community Center, and I'm honored and I'm happy because I was told that the previous performance was enjoyed, so I'm quite chuffed. Right, give me a second to settle in. I've come all the way from Derby, so 2 hours of drive this morning, so it wasn't too bad. It was beautiful English countryside, and I was listening to English folk music, and it was all, the scene was set for this morning. I'm Rubaya Pirzada. I am a Sufi artist. I do soulful music, which takes its influence from Gaelic, Celtic, Middle Eastern, and Indian classical music. Can you guys hear it? So I'm going to begin the ceremony with a poem from Rumi. The mystery of the moment. To mind, there is such a thing as news. But to the soul and in me, it's all but a muse. Thank you. जले शान अल्लाह तेरो नाम लीजे होवे तसल्ला Thank you. So this song is called The Story of Man. I always tell the story, how the song came about. A friend of mine, she wears a headscarf, it's a taboo, that I'm about to talk about, and she was smoking a cigarette and she was getting these judging eyes. So the song comes from there. It's about finding inner peace. As human beings, we've got different things that we kind of turn to find the peace. There's a flame burning, my soul. My soul, it's all the mankind. We're all one, regardless of the race, creed and color. We all aspire to be at peace. We all aspire to be facing Om, the mantra for peace. This is the story of man. Story of life. This is the story of truth. Shaded with lies. There's a fire of desire burning, burning, burning my soul. Thank you. Have I still got time? Just checking if I've still got time. Right. This song is my own composition. It's about Amir Khusro and Nizamuddin. So there is a genre in subcontinent which is called Khavari, which comes from Amir Khusro, who's the founder of the genre. And it's a composition that talks about his teacher, Nizamuddin. Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin aliya jag ujaro, Nizamuddin aliya jag ujaro, jag ujaro, jag ujaro, jagat ujaro, Nizamuddin aliya jag ujaro. Can I get you guys to clap? मैं तो ऐसो रंग और ना ही देखूं, मैं तो ऐसो रंग और ना ही देखूं, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin aliya jag ujaro, Nizamuddin aliya jag ujaro. So the song is composed in a raga of the spring season. Sagar ban phool rahi sarson, sagar ban mohe pir payo Nizamuddin, mohe pir payo Alauddin, Nizamuddin, Alauddin, Qutbuddin, Muhyiddin, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin. आज बरसात रंग है रे मारी माँ, रे माँ, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin, Nizamuddin aliya jag ujaro, jag ujaro, jag ujaro, jagat ujaro, Nizamuddin aliya
Thank you once again, Rubaya. Wonderful experience. Thank you. As now is made this momentous moment to unlock the 35th anniversary, 35 years of history we were trying to capture from our founding members until the time of our current young volunteers in Deeplish. And that was in effort, through our multi-partnership, interviewed many people, and it's really a moment where I have, been blessed to capture the very founding members of our organization 35 years ago in 1988. I have Mr. Paul Rowan. I have Mr. Wafa, who was 10 years old, the son of our legend, Mr. Salik. So he's here today, and of course we'll hear the stories. So before I think we're running, this is the first time we're running in a way that we are, timed, and of course in the presence of our many young leaders, and of course our local leaders from the local authority, and from our funders, Jessica, I welcome from the Heritage England, who has made this possible to unlock the story of Deeplish Community Centre from 1988-89 until today. So this year we completed 35 years, and through the efforts of our volunteers, workers, partners, we have captured this. And I always said this is the episode of many memories. This is the first episode of our history. Hopefully with more resources and the efforts we will continue developing this. And that will be archived and stored, and for many future generations to come and take inspiration and to remember the legacy of the community and unity. So thank you. After wonderful poetry, I think it's time to observe the film Deeplish, Deep Dive into Deeplish. Thank you. So my involvement started in 1999 when I commenced my work as a development worker at Deeplish Community Centre. That was a time when the community unity and the cohesion was in question. So my task was to bring peoples and projects together to make the unity amongst the community. Deeplish Community Centre has engaged people with people and communities, and of course has inspired many generations, young people, preschools, playgroups, elderly, and upscaling people with employment, with the jobs, and of course with the regeneration of the area.
When I used to go to school, this place here was a Victorian house. It was an old house. It belonged to NHS, and they used to run it as a baby clinic, and then it got demolished, and then we, as a Deeplish community, was formed on this premises. There used to be a hut, a green hut. That's where we started from. And from there, obviously, the council or the community around this area, we thought we could do with a community centre. So this was an ideal place. So we demolished that, and then we built a new community centre here.
When we have Deeplish Community Centre, I remember that we used to have Deeplish Clinic. And I used to bring my children, and we used to come to clinic and health assessments and all that. And when we had the community centre, it was far better that we had clinic as well, and we had the benefit of the community centre where we can organize activities.
Earliest memories I can recall is the old Deeplish Clinic that was situated here. We used to play all sorts here, football, cricket, marbles, believe it or not. And probably one of the best things I ever did was, at the age of 18, along with a couple of friends, we held our first ever football competition using Deeplish School field. We started it off as merely get the youngsters together, and they came from all sorts of communities, and we got them to play against each other in a friendly environment, and at the same time raise money for charity. And everyone felt part of this great thing.
Children and young people are very close to our heart. So we run preschools, playgroups, youth groups, youth forums, and of course the adult education. From 2000 we started working on developing my vision to make sure that we have a dedicated preschool and children's center built in this area. We are so proud today to stand in Deeplish to say our community, our governors and our leaders locally and of course in the neighborhood has achieved the success of building a Deeplish primary school.
Well, when I started, this didn't exist. So we got a group of residents together to try and get some facilities. And we were told at first, well, you've got to demonstrate that there's a need. So we started two things. We managed to get some funding for a play scheme and we started a luncheon club for the older people. I got to know the chair of the Health Authority, Pamela Horton, and I persuaded Pam that it would be in the Health Authority's interest and Deeplish's to get a submission for new money through the urban programme. And that's what we did. And we've been very lucky, I think, over the years to have somebody like Sahel, who's actually carried out all the work, particularly in the last few years when funding has been so difficult. He's been the person who's actually got his head together, and when the council's reduced the funding, lots of other centres in Rochdale have fallen by the wayside, but not Deeplish, because of his hard work. And what you see now is a very thriving centre that is at the centre of the community. 35 years on, the play scheme is still as popular as ever. There'll be 60 or 80 young people here over the 5 weeks of the summer holidays, 4 days a week, and they'll be having a fantastic time.
No any place to play there outside for children on the street. It's dangerous for children. That's why they come over here. Good place, good atmosphere, everything. They enjoy the here, everything what they want to do.
We need people to work, have better jobs, better housing, be happy, healthy and active citizens of this town. And of course the depression was around Deeplish, poverty, lack of housing, overcrowding. So yeah, there were many challenges and barriers we faced over years, and we challenged and we provided solutions to local issues.
Around Deeplish, deprivation sees a digital divide widen. Laptops and Wi-Fi, essentials for most of us, are an expensive luxury for many here. The community centre, a charity and Greater Manchester Combined Authority are trying to change that.
Okay, so I want you to all open your boxes.
People living here can get online free, and some, who couldn't speak English at the turn of the year, have had training and are now getting tablets and SIM cards without the heavy bill. The area's councils and community leaders here hope all this will see a fall in what's being called data poverty.
We made good friends with Cartwheel Arts, Touchstone and many other organizations who they inspired our children doing art and craft, and many other organizations came on board as partners.
Today at Deeplish we've been running a workshop as part of a 6-week project. Our aim today was to collect some words in short form in the style of postcards. We imagined what would it be like if you were sending a postcard home to where you came from, or maybe to your parents, or maybe to your children and grandchildren, and tell them what it's like being here at Deeplish, the community and the community centre. And the idea was to say this is how people used to communicate at the time when this centre opened. So this centre opened 35 years ago. We didn't have texting, we didn't have those instant messages like WhatsApp, those kind of things. So if you wanted a short little message sending to someone, a postcard was the way to go. We thought a postcard was a nice way for people to be able to communicate the messages now in a kind of short form. Some will be sending some of those postcards in real life to some of their relatives abroad, etc.
I write a postcard to my daughter. Dear Sarah, I am in Deeplish story group. We learning about how this center helping to community. Here is lots of things going on. So I got lots of informations.
To Sparrow, in our primary days, we were playing and sparrow are chirping above us. Nature had given both of us the same songs regarding Rukshanda.
I'd like to call here to my dear Mrs. Nasser. Thank you. If you had not have helped me, I don't know where I would be. I wish you all the best, and I will never forget your kind words.
The poetry sessions were very popular. People used to come from Liverpool, from London, the poets, very famous poets, and they used to do a lot of work with us. And my brother used to do some poetry as well, may Allah bless his soul. And so many other people were not with us. These were the gem of Deeplish, and they have spent a lot of time, and they will be remembered for the contribution they made to the local community and Deeplish Community Centre.
At home in Deeplish. Deeplish is friendly. I love my friends, but only sometimes. Sometimes we are like normal friends. Deeplish is a good place. I like spicy chicken and chips and spicy noodles. Spicy ice cream. So much. Deeplish feels like home. The playground full of tag and hide and seek. I'm cornered by a tree. I see escape, I shall flee like a mouse from a cat. Deeplish is a focal point. The best thing about school is break time and maths. I'm counting the minutes to the next break, or maybe maths. Deeplish Community Centre is green. Green as grass and leaves and other stuff. I like to dance with my brother and cousins, with music as loud as a thunderstorm. Deeplish is fun. I like rolling down the hill, but walking back up, not so much. We play on the swings with friends, the ones we love, sometimes. Not too high, not too fast. Deeplish feels like home.
In 2004 and 5, we highlighted that there was a lack of connectivity, and the lack of transport. There were not many buses, there were not many trains, they were fully accessible. So community center developed a community transport. So it was transport for health, transport for employment, and transport for young people to visit the places of interest, the theme parks, the educational activities, the libraries, the museums, and the places of culture and heritage. We're still keen to see that there's a community transport in our town. That's a small project which is still owned and managed by our committee and by our good members of staff.
We had this idea of developing transport. It took us 2 years to hit the road. Then I became the first driver of Rochdale Community Transport. I wanted the transport or the look to be different than others, so I had dress code as well, at the time. Ever since, I'm still managing transport now. We grew all of a sudden from nowhere, we sprung, and we were all over Manchester, around Manchester, so we're serving a lot of community. There was a big need for the transport. The big buses on Deeplish Road here, they couldn't get through, so there was no local service for here. From there, it just went on and on. So I've never looked back really.
Throughout my working with Deeplish, I found that a lot of people struggle with language barriers, with changes that occur in the borough. A lot of people struggle, so we are here for them, to help them, so they can have a better quality of life.
This is a working place area, and the generation here is old people now like me, and they need some place to go and have some sort of activity and social interaction. And that is why it is very important, this centre, to provide some sort of recreation for old people who are in this area now.
This is the main life, if you work, help each other, support each other. This is the main thing, people is very happy when they come here. Some people come to me, will you please write for me my Pakistan letter, I want to send over there. And I help them write the letter in Urdu, and this is a good memory, if you help each other. Good times spent, nearly 40 years. I can't believe that. This is it.
When I first started helping here, it was through some friends, and I really, really enjoyed it. They were all a lovely group of people. We used to bring couple of ladies from the care home, and no one came to go over and bring them in for the lunch. I also used to help in the summer when they run a play scheme for the kids. I used to help with that as well. So like I said, I really enjoyed all of this here. Lovely to see it now because the place is really extended since then, and it seems to be so busy.
My daughter used to come and work here with henna. Lot of people comes and put henna on. Some do makeups, other like face painting. When young people in the holiday, they take them to Hollywood Lake for horse riding, cycling, sometimes classes for English classes. I used to come here, yoga classes, exercise classes. It's very good.
I've been coming to Deeplish Community Centre for a very long time. I did start with doing some play scheme work with children. We used to take them different places like cinemas, swimming, on the bus to small trips, things like that. I think it's a good thing to volunteer when you got some time on your hand. I mean, in my time, I used to work myself in a textile mill, very hard work. Comparing doing children's play scheme a lot easier, but people should take a part in it to give a sport what they can.
Since I'm coming here, I'm very happy, feel like home, this place. Since I start coming here, I feel so better, they do so many activities. My health's better, exercise we doing and we chat each other, and so many other activities like sometimes sewing sessions, poetry, so many other things having here.
We supported our elderly. If they need any help or any advice, any issue comes to their mind, first thing they will think of Deeplish Community Centre.
These sessions have proved to be very beneficial for the ladies because they were not very used to art being used for well-being and mental health. I think that it was something new to the group. Certainly they look forward to Mondays, they were more active, they were more involved. So I think these sessions have been amazing for the ladies and they thoroughly enjoyed the sessions.
I used to bring my children, I used to play group here, I used to work here, so I used to play scheme here. So I know this Deeplish for a long time, It's nice to come here because you socialize with people and basically it has to be mind as well because you get out of the house as well. It's nice to come and get with socialize people, it's good.
I've been involved a lot with the Deeplish group, do a lot of psychoeducation, a lot of mental health awareness raising and supporting ladies that attend the group, and yeah, I really enjoy what I do. There's a huge sense of community, there's a huge sense of connection between the people and the people who run the organisations, and it's a wonderful way for us as Cartwheel Art to collaboratively work with other organisations and really see people through their journeys around mental health and well-being.
I came out of university in 2001, I think, and then 2002, 2003 I started work with the Rochdale Youth Services. And the area that I got given to look after and manage as a youth worker was Deeplish, Freehold and Milkstone area. And at that time, this centre was the only centre that I had where we could come into a building and young people were welcome to come in and get involved in youth activities and things. I remember we had a Deeplish Youth Forum and we had Deeplish Youth Group, Monday night, Tuesday night. But that was always attended by boys. None of the girls were involved. So we initiated the British Asian Girls Group through a project called Active Citizenship Project as well, I remember. Yeah. We had to do a lot of work with families involved, with the parents and the guardians, because they had to build trust, and we ended up having, 20 almost plus young girls coming in doing the Duke of Edinburgh work. And it was amazing. I think it's fair to say, if I look back now, I think they enjoyed themselves a lot during that time, whilst they're learning, skills for life.
I got involved with Deeplish when I first started in 2006 with the British Asian Girls Group at Deeplish. So the idea around was to give the girls a voice and a safe place to express themselves, to express their concerns, to work with the community, to address community needs kind of thing. So one of the projects that we worked with at Deeplish was called Active Citizenship. The idea was to give the young girls a voice to raise their concerns and what they're feeling inside as being young British Muslim girls in Deeplish. Also teaching them and educating them about British values, linking to the Duke of Edinburgh Award. There's also to give that opportunity for the young people to go and do something that they've never done, like outdoor activities. This is the kind of community centre what gives them the opportunity to come here to do these kind of activities. Having a centre in the heart of the community has helped us to deliver what we needed to deliver to the young people. So that's the kind of thing we've done from Deeplish.
And when we set up this establishment of Deeplish Youth Forum, it attracted, more people to help out. And we saw that progress, some of the projects that went on with the litter picking, and then other football competitions with the play schemes that developed. And then parallel to that, getting involved in the school, Deeplish School. Most of my work then was focused, concentrated around the mosque. But then when I got involved with the school, most of them parents, their children would attend the mosque as well. And we could then be a kind of a listening body to the parents who couldn't communicate with the school. And one of the best things we ever did was the recruitment of a new head teacher, who's been fantastic, Mr. Ewan McPherson, and the building of the new school. I mean, I would never have imagined that we'd get a new school.
We worked in partnership with local authority in making sure that Deeplish was the first neighbourhood where Children's Centre was established in the form of first Show Start Centre in Rochdale, serving the children and families from a dedicated building right behind the Deeplish Community Centre.
My journey started in the 90s. I used to bring my daughter to the community centre for toy library, and I started doing a course in childcare at the community centre, and then they were setting up a playgroup. I applied for that and I got the playgroup assistant role, and we set up the playgroup in 1997. Yes, it's been 27 years. Since then I've been part of the committee as a secretary for 2 years. I was part of the panel to interview Suhail when he got the job. So my kids have grown up in Deeplish. They've attended play schemes, Saturday clubs, youth clubs, study classes. So we've done everything, and playgroup's been a big part of my life. We set up the playgroup in the community centre, and then I think it was in early 2001 when we moved to the children's centre building Show Start, and it's been here since, and it's going as strong as ever. We all work hard as a team, and we've got a very good team. We've all been together like 10, 15, 20 years, so every year is a different challenge, and that's what keeps us more interested in doing this job, because it's a challenge every year.
One of the first words I learned being involved in the community centre was cohesiveness. What did it actually mean? Building the bridges between different communities, different organisations, and especially working closely with the police, the new ones that come on board, getting them trained up in the mosque from a religious aspect, and then all the smaller projects that are run here, and you see them and they flourish. We have maybe second, third generation of youngsters who have come through, who, when you see them speak, when you see them work, and you think, wow, these guys have just blown you away in terms of the work they do and the ability they have, simply because of the system they've come through at the community centre. I think having that network is very, very important for a community like us, which will only help us grow stronger and better.
Not only Pakistani English people, all the different community, we all get together and play, talking each other. They talk with their own country about what are we doing there, what we spend time. Really, we know each other. This is it.
The Deeplish, there are so many memories, and it's good to when we say that we have at least done something. I want to make some contribution to the local communities, local community organizations, and to make sure that we leave a legacy behind.
It's a long time these people never came. Now with their chairman, 25 years, good friend, and Jahir, Suhail, Latif, caretaker, everything is all right.
We had a very good time, and I think I really enjoyed it, being part of the centre when I was able to. Now I'm not able to, I'm too old to do anything. Therefore, my blessings and my prayers are with the centre.
I like the way that they set out and they said there's such a good community, they're sticking together. And that's what life's all about, regardless of who you are or where you come from.
Really, it means everything. It's our home, And we have to look after our community centre.
My message to our young people here is to get involved in the Duke of Edinburgh Award, the activities that are planned and programmed here at the Deeplish Community Centre. Without getting involved, your voice isn't heard, so please come inside and get involved in the activities.
Our hope is that we continue making change, we continue inspiring young people, employment, education, and ensuring that we serve the people who are in need. So this is, thank you very much for being patient. This is real life, many of our characters, the players, the leaders, whether they're retired or they're well, or they're still working, they're still in this room. I'm sure over lunch we'll connect with them and hear more. Many students who they have been benefiting now they're in universities. Many others who now they're working full time. So it's a pleasure for me and to see this change. It's about people's connecting different pieces together and bringing them to a platform and then to inspire, unite, And one of my students, Akab, he's now a place scheme leader, he's a solicitor and lawyer. He asked me to read a few verses of my poem, which I did. This that's for Cartwheel, on their impact partnership, impact conference in Manchester. I did. That was, a person is nothing without community. A community is nothing without unity, and unity is nothing without cooperation, and cooperation is key for a cohesion. A person is a leader, every person is a leader in our community, and every community is powerless without people. So God bless elders and young in our community, and community is everything with unity. Thank you. So with this, with this note, may I call CEO from Cartwheel Arts, Hebe, to say a few words, and of course we'll follow the reviews from our senior leaders.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I just want to congratulate Sahel and everyone at Deeplish Community Centre for a tremendous 35 years of activity, and what a special film, and yeah, it's incredible to be here. Cartwheel and Deeplish have had a long history of working together in partnership, which started with my predecessor, Rick Walker, and included notable projects like Tell Us Another One, where we work with poets Anjum Malik, who's now the poet for Manchester City, and Shamshad Khan to deliver creative writing projects with communities in Deeplish. In 2021, we collaborated to deliver the Poetry Miles film, snippets of which you saw on the film above there. This project worked with communities during the COVID-19 pandemic, so working with communities remotely to co-create a poem. The words of the poem were then jet-washed on the streets around Deeplish and Milkstone, so communities who've been isolated for a long time were able to walk the Poetry Miles and experience the poem in a safe, socially distanced way. We continue to work closely with Deeplish now, and this beautiful banner you can see here was co-created by our Zinda Dil, or Lively Heart Group, an incredible group of talented ladies who meet every Monday morning and work with our brilliant freelance practitioners and artists. As CEO at Cartwheel, I get the real pleasure to stand up and deliver things like this and often be the face of the organisation. But it is our freelance practitioners, it's our volunteers, it's the people who are in the room delivering the work on a weekly basis who really make all this magic happen. And I'm not going to be able to name everyone today, but we've got Salma, Rahela and Seamus, two of our brilliant practitioners here today who you hopefully saw in the film. It's been an honour to work on the Everyday Heritage project in partnership with Deeplish, and I'm going to hand over to our Art for Wellbeing coordinator, Stacey, who'll tell you a little bit more about exactly what we did on this project. Thank you.
Hello everybody, thank you. Yes, it was such a beautiful privilege to be part of this project. We worked with 3 different communities and groups at Deeplish Community Centre here. One of them was the Zinderdale Art Group as well. And we explored, and it's very difficult to explore 35 years of memories and celebration in 6 or 7 weeks. But we attempted it to look at different ways of how to capture those memories, whether it be through creative writing and poetry. We created textiles and embroidery pieces, and we also created fruit salads. We're using British different summer fruits and Pakistani mangoes, and kind of incorporating all those different elements into creating different parts of this whole creative project. And it was really wonderful to be part of, as I say, just sharing those experiences, sharing those stories and sharing those memories. Sorry. So yes, thank you very much to, as I say, some of our practitioners, who was Salma Khaled, Rahela Khan, Seamus Kelly and Henry Eden as well, who also took part in the children's photography projects, part of it as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stacey. Every week we plan, we deliver, and it's rightly, very wisely we have chosen the characters to reflect the 35 years history. I have a young person who was talking about the film, that was young Saqib and of course young Summer. They're still around, much more enhanced senior leaders, and they contribute, as centuries, like I said, it's nothing with the community, so the mosque, the school, the community, we all put things together and then we'll run this wagon of the community. So without further ado, can I invite the Saqib, who has to travel to London for his job, the Saqib, only for a few minutes to show your face and say a few words, your experience and your involvement.
Good morning, assalamu alaikum everyone. It's always nice to get an invite to come to the front to speak, to talk, and looking around, all these familiar faces who have been with the community centre from day one to the very, very end. And I just probably want to share my story, how I got involved, from the mosque, the collaboration, etc. And it goes back to an article I read. I was a gentleman called Richard. I don't know his surname. I'm not sure if you can Google him either. He lived in a suburb of London in the 90s, and he drove a Saab. I don't think you see many Saabs around nowadays. So he'd come home from work. He worked for the local council, and he would find his car in such a state. One day someone had nicked the stereo, so he'd get that replaced, they'd nick it again, they'd smash his windows, and it really got difficult for him. And these were people on the state, young lads, kids, and he didn't know what to do, and he got to the state where they began to use his car as a toilet. So what does a man do? Give up? Well, pretty much. He then got in touch with a friend of his, and his friend was a pretty hefty character, a henchman, as he liked to say. And he goes, look, I'm having trouble with these lads. I think if you can come down and sort it out, I'd really appreciate this. And his friend turned round and said to him, what exactly do you have in mind? And he goes, I thought you could answer that one for me. And Richard says the response he got from his mate was completely different. Instead of saying, no worries, I'll come round, we'll sort these lads out, everything will be done and dusted, and they won't even get back to you. But his friend said, what have you done to involve these youngsters in any kind of social outlet, play, etc.? He goes, nothing, because none of my business. I'm a single guy, I get on, go to work every single day. And he goes, look, these lads are crying out for something, and they find this a suitable pastime to use and abuse your car. So he goes, I recommend something. He goes, you start off a football tournament, and this is the plan. So who you identify as the main gang leaders, you appoint them as managers of that football team. Okay. Second one, he goes, each manager has to recruit his own players, and each team must have at least 2 female participants. Okie dokie. What else? Rule number 3 is no lates at all. So if anybody turns up late on the day, they are disqualified, and that is down to the manager. So Richard printed out a few pamphlets, leaflets, booked a local community centre, and off he went. And it took off like nobody's business. You know, these people lapped it up, they were given responsibility, they went out, they approached, they recruited players, got everyone together, and on the day, they had over 1,000 participants. And this is, we're talking early 90s. So 1,000 participants all turned up on time, etc. This grew and grew and grew until Arsenal Football Club came on board and said, actually, thank you very much, we'll take it forward now. And reading that Richard story to me was, I personally, back in them days, would have thought, okay, I know quite a few henchmen, let's get this sorted, you know, problem solved. But the fact that this community centre exists and that we can reach out to people and involve people, honestly, it really, really makes my day, it satisfies me, and it's in the true spirit, you know, of community work and what it should be. So I'd just like to say a massive thank you to every single one of you here for helping, continuing to help, and involving others more than anybody else. Thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you. We heard from Saqib. Jamshed was very popular in active citizenship. When we have no girls group, we initiated, we opened the door, we pioneered, and that became a real power in our community. The first girls group, the first Duke of Edinburgh Award, we launched from the Deeplish Hall. Can I invite Jamshed to say a few words in a few minutes? Thank you. Everybody's waiting for you, Jam.
Assalamu alaikum everybody, and a massive welcome to Deeplish Community Centre, which you will all know very, very well. It's what can I say? The culture, the familiarity, the comfort of being in a place where you're welcomed, where you know, your voice and your ideas is welcomed, is a massive blessing that the people, the staff, the caretakers, the chair people, the community centre managers, the board have been able to just grow. We have young people here that have been involved from day one, and who, like Saqib now, are flourishing. I didn't mention in the film before, we had a young person who was involved in the youth group back here. We would actually do our area forum meetings here, and he, and along with his peers in the youth group, would practice here weeks before the area forum meeting so that he could share his ideas. He's now also a youth worker making change and creating change in another place at Rochdale with Rochdale Youth Services. So I'd just like to say thank you to everybody here involved, especially the staff here and all the volunteers running an amazing centre, one of the best community centres that I can say I've been a part of in Rochdale. Well done to everybody. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you, Jamshed. You know, we still work together. You know, of course, Jamshed, Nadeem, and Mudazaf. You know, before that time, you know, there were young children in an old primary school. We were struggling with the sports leadership awards. We were struggling with the Link for Life. And that used to be a conscious department called Youth and Community Services. We only have one strong, tall youth worker who will look after every single child in this neighborhood. That youth worker serves on senior level. May I call Brother Zaf, still in youth service. And you saw Zaf when he started his career, he was Deeplish patch. I'm sure Jamshed has then taken over, then the Shiraz and Nadeem, and certainly Zaf played his part.
Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. It's like being on surprise, this, isn't it? It's like out of the blue, come on down. So I actually got to know Brother Sahel when I was working for the Active Communities Project, if that's right, Julie, at the back. Surprised it's not called you down actually as well. You're next. So it was about promoting sports to the Asian community, predominantly the central ward of Rochdale. And we did actually do a lot. I remember one of the first events we did here was when I was somehow again nominated to do a bungee jump, if you remember that one. We did do a lot. We did kabaddi, we did beanie competitions, we did a lot of things in the community, like sports cohesion events. Brought a lot of people together. We enabled other communities to come and join the events that we had here, bringing lots of people together. And it's been a absolutely thriving community centre. And times have changed. The community centres like this do face various different challenges. I think it's fair to say that this community centre, under Sahel's management, has actually evolved as well, and it's served the community with no matter what their needs are. They've always been there. So I'm actually going to say on behalf of the community, Sahel, thank you very much for everything you've done. Thank you.
So moving local neighborhood needed leaders, they needed sports workers and coaches, and of course we started developing our youth forums back of the mosque and the old community school playgrounds. Monday, Tuesday was fine, but this game was Monday to Sunday. So therefore we kicked in and got some other young people involved, like Summer and Brother Saqib. Brother Summer now looks after the Neely Mosque. Back those days we used to go on trips, the residential, the Hollingworth Lake to Lake District. Many young people, we gave them exposure of the nature and the countryside. Without further ado, Brother Summer Mushtaq. Summer after the Neely Mosque Education Committee, and I was so pleased that the Neely Mosque became a beacon of education. First time, there were committee members who they have education qualification, they were trained, they start safeguarding the DBS and the curriculum for a local mosque group, which was fantastic. It grows. Wonderful, Mr. Summer. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. I thought when Saqib came up here, that was it. That was the young people done, but I was surprised to be here. I'll just tell you one story. So this was between 1992 and 2022. We made an organisation called Deeplish FA, a football association just based over here. When we sat down and discussed it, Sahel said, do something big. People had done tournaments with 4 teams, 5 teams. This was a tournament with 210 youngsters, 30 different teams. It was absolutely huge. So there was activities throughout the year. And what we used to do was, instead of giving the awards on the day, we used to book Deeplish Community Centre and the mayors. So we've seen mayors come and go. Some of those young people, they've grown up. I see them all the time. When you've dealt with, it was 2,100 participants in total. We had an awards evening here once where the wall was full of pictures of 10 years of celebration, and the young people, they brought their parents in. Some of the elders over here might have had youngsters who played in that as well. One of the things that the youngster said to me once was, he's not a youngster anymore, he was a guy with many children of his own. He said, that was the highlight of my life. Football, it was such a passion. I've never seen anything like it. It brought people over here. Sahil mentioned I'm a volunteer at Neely Mosque. Now, this was just because of my love for the community centre. We have a community clean around the Neely Mosque, around the Metrolink car park, so towards that end. But because of the love of Deeplish Community Centre, we extend the community clean all the way around the Deeplish Community Centre. And whatever we try to achieve over there, Sahil, he's probably beaten us over here with all the planting and everything. He's a real inspiration. So I think the round of applause really goes to Sahil. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me to see 25 years later the local people now looking after the caring. I learned from my seniors, my elders, and now this is the legacy which follows, and hopefully will train more people in going forward. Sports, young people, the skills, ESOL, the talk English, the employment, the volunteering is a challenge in a community like Deeplish. And we have worked with Rochdale College. We have Brother Zulf sitting here, KYP. Many times we run many programs and classes of the ESOL, the entry levels, and the efforts to support people in passing their exams to ensure they are eligible for the nationality and B1 and B2, all these courses. Then Talk English came on board. From last 5-6 years, they occupied, the Talk English is basically giving people a confidence to learn and then improve and making sure they go from community center to a local authority and then go to college and achieve some skills really. That has been phenomenal. Without any further ado, may I ask Sarah, who she coordinates the ESOL program, to say a few words.
Oh, I'm sure. Good morning, Assalamu alaikum. It's not been 5-6 years, it's actually been 10 years. So, Deeplish Community Centre was the first centre we approached to deliver ESOL classes in the borough, and we have been delivering since 2014. We have delivered 60 classes just in Deeplish Community Centre, and I think we've worked with over 950 residents delivering pre-entry and entry 1 classes. This year alone, we have started 7 classes and 80 learners are accessing the centre, as well as ESOL and digital, life in the UK and driving theory classes. So thank you, Sahil and Zaya, for putting up with us and giving us a priority when we book in the venue, and hopefully we'll have new classes starting in January. Thank you.
Yeah, it took us 10 years before Sarah gave us an award for 10 years service. Yeah, wonderful, thank you, yeah. So, thank you, Sarah. Helping and supporting those who we really connect, the need, the new emerging members and the community members, they come in and helping and supporting people is our passion. Now, we're running on time. We have very senior and founder members of the community centre. Rick, our old friend, Rick, I remember the time it was a lockdown, everybody was locked, and people who they were allowed on emergencies, they were around, Nigel Golding is not here from environmental team, and the Rick, they were around Deeplish, making sure that young people, they've been given art and craft packs. Those packs become so popular, we help the service of the local authority in connecting with the families. So I remember the time Rick used to come here and deliver at the door of Deeplish, and I will see him at a distance. Rick, thank you. May I ask you to say a few words? Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So, I was director of Cartwheel Arts for 20 years, but I started off as a project worker. And the first project I did here, the first of many, was with young people. And I was sort of running an arts and crafts session over there with young people aged sort of 11, 12, 13. And then on this side of the room, there was a group of older boys playing cricket with a hard ball. Now, I love cricket, and I still play cricket. But cricket in a room this size is inadvisable, and there came a point where I had to put a stop to it. But I think it's an example of how the community centre here attempts to meet the needs of all ages, of all sections of the community in one space. And it's a fantastic job that they do. Since then, I'm delighted that to see ladies from the Story Group still here. So tell us another one started in 2005 and ran for 12 or 13 years. But obviously that group is still together in a sense and still working with Carl, which is fantastic. And we did run some great projects during lockdown here with young people. And this has been part of my life. So thanks very much for inviting me to say a few words. And well done to Hale for keeping it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. It's a pleasure to see you from Manchester and still connecting and looking after the art and, of course, the organizations we work around. Thank you. Paul Rowan was a young Paul, a great volunteer for Play Scheme, and, of course, respected Mom Kathleen was looking after the elderly club, the English lunching club, and, of course, there was an Asian lunching club for Mr. Said who was running it. Great number of years success and connecting people. May I ask Paul to say a few words? I still actively work with the Deeplish Community Centre as a volunteer. He guides us, supports us, and cares about community. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, thank you very much, Sahel, and it's so nice to see so many of you here today, especially so many of you who I've had the pleasure of working with over the years. And as Sahel's film has very eloquently shown, we started with nothing and we've now got a fantastic building, but buildings are bricks and mortar. The important word in the middle of that is community. And what you have here in Deeplish is a real solid community that lives, works and helps each other. This building acts as a centre for that activity, and it's great that we've been able over the years to help so many people, young and old, develop the skills and opportunities that they were entitled to. Sahel has played a big part of that. I think Sahel and his staff are the people we should all be congratulating today, because without them there would be no centre. Yes, there is a community, but you always need somebody to bring it together. So my thanks would go to Sahel and to the staff here who've worked so hard to make this a successful building. And wasn't it a wonderful film? Something that we could show to future generations. This building was built by the people, for the people. Thank you.
Before we hear from our Honourable Madam Deputy Mayoress, we will invite a few more. Mr. Salik and Doris, though the people on right and left, all of Paul Rowan and many others. Azra Islam was the chair when I was recruited first time, and it is the time now we're moving in still, and is capturing the memories of past has been a real honourable thing and journey for me this year. I met Salik Wafa a few years later, and then I met his grandson. He was very eloquently reading. We were doing a program with Cartwheel Arts here, with Seamus and Stacey, and he was amongst the young person on a work experience. And my colleagues, he said, so he'll look into this Salik Saab's grandchild, a very poetic, very eloquently reading something which we all inspired. So he became a friend of Deeplish, and he connects. He Allah make him Hafiz and Alim and Qari. He's such a beautiful young person. And I thought that is a product which Mr. Salik has pioneered and given something as a charity to the community, and is coming back to his family. So Wafa, where is he, Wafa? Wafa, may I ask you to say a few words? What was your memory of the time when you were here in Deeplish? You were 10 years old. Come and tell us.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for all coming. I don't know really what to say. I was really young when I left Rochdale, but I remember the community centre and all the hype that was around it and stuff, and my dad's house always used to be buzzing with people coming in and out of it. And there was like meetings going on till like 12, 1 o'clock in the mornings. And as a kid, I was only like 9, 10, I used to think, what are all these people doing in my house? Haven't they got nowhere to go? Are they going to go to sleep? But my dad was always an active person, always, always. And I remember when I was about 10, and I finished my recitation of the Quran. And I was so excited, and I ran home and I told my mum, and my mum was like, oh, tell your dad, tell your dad. And I ran to my dad, I said, Dad, I finished the Quran and stuff. He went, all right, we'll do a little party for you. And I literally took that he's going to do a party for me today. So I went around telling everybody, we're having a party today. I finished the Quran, I finished the Quran. My dad goes, why have you told everybody you're doing a party today? I haven't organised nothing. But he managed to do something on that very day just to please me and to please my friends and stuff like this. So these are the kind of little memories I have. But then like my uncle, is a man, he's like took over, and like there's a lot of memories of that he shared with us, because obviously my dad passed away when I was quite young. So I always went to my uncles and my aunties and my mum just to tell us what my dad was like. And then meeting a lot of you guys around here, getting, you know, information about my dad and history and, you know, what you guys did in the community really, really kind of just hits me. And I just want to say really like thank you very much for all of you, you know, being part of the community centre and still being part of it and moving forward with it. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back to youth and community. You know, sometimes we'll struggle with the girls, with the funding, with the resources. And I remember the 212 young youth workers of the time, Zaf and the Julia Drunt, they were always around doing something with it, whether it's cricket, whether football. They evolved, and still so proud to see, you know, the community has been helped. Now we work very closely with Action Together too, and of course Julie Drunt, ex-youth and community worker, the sports worker, the coach, and eventually the cricket coach. You know, still we have a chance to work with her in developing and supporting the community groups, small community groups who they need help and support in securing small funds. So, Julie Trent, few words from your past memories.
Hello everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Suhail. Well, everybody said everything really. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's been a pleasure to have worked with Suhail over the years, first in my role as a sports development officer and now in my role at Action Together supporting him. Still fantastic, you're doing fantastic work. Funding obviously plays a massive part, keeping an organisation like this together, but Suhail has managed to find those funds and manages to do the wonderful work that he's doing today. So I'm glad I've been a small part in this wonderful centre over the years. So thank you, Suhail. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Somebody mentioned the area forum. Area forum of Milkston and Deeplish was very popular. I think I chaired 10, 12 years. Then Shahad chaired 10, 12 years. Then Mr. Shahzad, he was supposed to be here today, but I think he's not in. So that was a popular thing, discussing sports, the arts, the highway, housing, planning, and school patrols, so much. So that was a well-attended forum. Now it's finished due to council constraints, but certainly the spirit goes on. That forum has really developed. So well done, Shahid, in supporting the forum, and of course as an ex-local council, and a community worker, always been around here in supporting the schools and the community centres. That was wonderful. And again, I saw Brother Imtiaz here. Brother Imtiaz was a community worker here. Brother Imtiaz and myself, Zaman Sahab, we started the journey from RCD, Rochdale Centre of Diversity, which served many generations, many people with skills, the employment, the advice, the immigration was very popular with Brother Gulzar Hussain. May I ask Brother Imtiaz to say a few words on behalf of his time in Deeplish and Rochdale.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you, sir, for inviting me. I was just sitting down there and thinking 25 years back, or maybe more, when I used to work for RCD and we used to have so many projects here with Zaman and other people here as well. And it's really great to see that we got third generation here. I used to be a youth worker here when I started, 30 years I think. I'm gone old now, but still, you know, when I see things happening in Deeplish, I always feel proud that I used to be part of it. When sales started here, we developed a lot of projects here. Sports, you know, competitions, poetry, you know, especially for older people, young people, a lot of activities. And this center is not just for one particular community, it's for everyone, inclusive, age, gender, everything. And I would like to congratulate everyone, especially Suhail and his team, for wonderful work. Thank you very much.
You know, we worked across the boundaries from Spath, which is now closed, Sudden, and of course the Spotlight Community Centre. Asghar Sahib is here, and of course the Kashmir Youth Project. We always have a link of Kiani Sahib. Mr. Bashir Ansari, who was the first manager when King Charles visited KYP, who was the manager of KYP, and lately he became the founder of the local mosque, and he was a very eloquent scholar and a poet. And Salma will share his poetry and his thoughts still today, how he was talking about mental health 30 years ago, how he was addressing the issues, such a wisdom in his time and in his teachings. And then he moved here. Many programs we did that, which was again gave us a link. I think Brother Zaman, Brothers Imtaz, the KYP, and Deeplish was become youth workers, and of course Imtaz, the Nadeem, Shiraz, and Brothers Zaf. We all played a huge part in connecting the communities. So I asked CEO of KYP, Brother Zulf, who I also have an honor of working with KYP in many programs of ESOL, nationality, accessing the nationality in level 1, level 2 was an issue with college and the council. I think KYP really got off the ground. So may I invite Brother Zulf to say a few words on this occasion of 35th of Deeplish.
Assalamu alaikum everybody, good morning, or is it nearly good afternoon now? I wasn't expecting this. I thought I was just going to come and be part of your celebration. Deeplish Community Centre and KYP have had a very long and fruitful partnership. We've been working together on a number of projects. We delivered the AMIF programme, we worked on Ambition for Ageing, and we've been part of the community-based network together. So it's good to be here looking at the success of the community centre and the achievements that it's had. I've been emotional this morning because there's been lots of names that have come up. So Mr. Salik, for instance, who played a great role in my own personal mentoring. I've just seen Paul there, who I've not seen for must be about 15 years now since I last saw you. So it's great to be here, and it's great to celebrate this. And I'd just like to say thank you to the community, because it's the community that makes the centre, and without the community we can't do anything, as Suhail knows. So a big round of applause to all the successes of the Deeplish Community Centre, and look forward to the next 35 years.
Hafiz Malik Sahib here from Kashmir Community Centre, always on the other end, always helping hand. You know, I go to mosque is my centre. You know, when I was starting the community work, I was Roger Balry, Hafiz Sahib, remember, put me and Imtiaz on the committee of Kashmir, how we can help it. Now Kashmir plays huge part in this town, in this neighborhood, helping and supporting people in difficult and success time. Hafiz Sahib, you want to say a few words on our occasion? It will be played.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon. Thank you, Suhail, for inviting me. I think, as previous guests, I'm just a bit surprised that I'll be asked to say a few words. But I think what I want to mention is sometimes you underappreciate the service the community centres provide. I think the work that goes on behind the scenes, it's never seen. All we see is a setup. Even to set up a program like this requires a massive effort, teamwork. And I think there's a huge contribution by Suhail and his team. And I think we must all appreciate that. And I just wanted to say a massive congratulations, especially at the time when every centre has faced cuts. There's been cuts everywhere, and at a local level, the council has seen millions of pounds of cuts, and this has impacted on the community and also the community centres. For the community centre to find resources to continue, it's an absolute achievement, and this achievement needs to be recognised. Thank you for the fantastic work you do. This is for all the community centres, and to get through 35 years, I think when the community centre funding was cuts were announced, I think everybody was sort of looking at each community centre, each other, saying which community centre is now going to go down. I think for the community centres that still thrive and continue to deliver fantastic services to the community, it's an absolute massive achievement, and it's the dedication and commitment, and it's the work that they put in behind the scenes. Thank you, and a massive congratulations. Thank you.
I apologize. Thank you, Afsar. Thank you for the kind words. I apologize. We're certainly running a few minutes late, and I have very important keynote speakers. So thank you. But the Shahid was part of the community. I was ex-councillor. He still is the member of the community. May I ask him to say a few words? Shahid shared 12 or 15 years of the area forum. Good work, really, he undertook, and he still carries on some good work. The Shahid.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. This morning, we've heard tributes to the amazing work that the community centre has done with a number of communities with all the projects. Personally, I'd like to pay tribute to Brother Suhail. I'm just saying to a friend at the back, he's carried the centre forward. All the work that we've seen done in the community has been on the back of Suhail's impetus. I was involved with Suhail, I think, many years ago. I've known him from the days when he used to work at Champness Hall with Imtiaz. I was a contracts manager at the Training Enterprise Council at the time. And obviously since then, I was involved in the area forum, a really important forum that allowed residents to share their concerns with the local authority and allow for Greater Manchester Police to share their concerns that they may have, perhaps, or any issues that are arising. I'm currently the chair of the Police Independent Advisory Group. But for me to be here today, again, it sprung on me. So amazing work, and like Zulf was saying, we worked with many years ago as well. Hopefully for the next 35 years, we'd like to see Deeplish prosper, and with the guidance of Brother Suhail and his committee, the chair, upwards and onwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahid. When you mention funding and the courts have some mention, we scare ourselves. But 35 years we strive, we progress, and we develop. We have volunteers. We activate those volunteers. They become workers. Really an asset to the community is volunteering. I fully believe. My real partner, in welfare, social advice, Scotland Community Centre is always. Javed Saab is not here today. He's our shared welfare casework advisor. He helps people in, lifting the poverty, deprivation, the advice, and challenging the social security and the social system when people really struggle in from pension career to independent payments. Brother Askar Ali, can I ask you to say a few words? Deeplish also links with Scotland. Scotland was our patch. Me and Zaman Sahab taught Urdu in Scotland on weekends for 7-10 years. It was great. Everybody was excellent in A-level and GCSE in Urdu, and we were free volunteers and the teachers. I think we have memories with your center. Now we work with the welfare advice. Budaska.
Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, everybody. I'm just going to read a text what Sahil sent me last night. Make sure you tell them how wonderful I am, otherwise I won't speak. I'm only joking, sir. I'm only joking. I wasn't expecting this at all. I'm only going to take 30 seconds. I've been the manager at Scotland for 10 years now, and within those 10 years, when I started, within the first few months, I thought, this will probably be the shortest job I've ever done, because it was just looking, well, it was a mess, let's put it that way. There wasn't much funding around. Who did I turn to? Sahil. And I don't mind saying this, for the last 10 years, he's been not just a partner with us, but he literally, there's no word of a lie when I say this, he will phone me up and tell me where there's funding pots. And not many people do that in an environment where we're all fighting for the same pot. He literally will phone me up and say, apply for this, apply for that. And for that, you know what I mean, I can't thank him enough. And 10 years later, I think part of Scotland's success goes to you. So a massive thanks to you, Sahil. And congratulations to Deeplish, to Zahir, and everyone who do a fantastic job here. Zaman Saab. So thank you. Thanks, Sahil.
Thank you. Brother Seamus and me worked together, a local poet, an artist, and unlocking the people's, the memories. Seamus has worked with us on this project with many of our users, the participants, and the practitioners. So, Brother Seamus, you want to say a few words from your thoughts?
Thank you, Sahel, and good afternoon. It's nearly 35 years since I came to live in Rochdale, and the first friends I had in Rochdale were in Deeplish. So this is kind of a bit of a homecoming and a bit special to be able to do this. This centre's always been about promoting partnership and cohesion, and we watched the film and we've seen it's about so many more things as well. I've been lucky to be involved on a project working alongside Rahela here, capturing thoughts and memories and ideas from so many people, many of whom are sat in this room now. And that all comes from this centre and its ethos, and crucial to the development of this centre, crucial to its ethos were Mr. Selleck and Mrs. Doris Sandywell. Sadly, both are not with us any longer, but they are remembered on a plaque at the front of this building. And it seems appropriate just to take a moment now to remember and to celebrate two people crucial to the centre, two people whose spirits, voices, work and vision are still with us here in this centre now. Thank you.
Thank you, Seamus. Thank you very much for that. Our local serving councillor, Muhammad Arshad, has been very vital in promoting green and clean spaces, especially in Stonyfield and around. And so we appreciate the work is still continuing. Can I call Councillor Muhammad Arshad to say a few words from his side?
Thank you, Vice Chair, for inviting me. I'll give you a little, my own story why community centre is so important. I migrated from Pakistan in 96, and when I first came, obviously, I had little knowledge of computer, IT, accounts, and etc. And I first I was going to uni and I was trying to find where I can learn these skills and etc. First I went to KYP, obviously. Amish Hashmi was there, obviously, when I started learning my English. Then I went to the REC, which was on the station road. Obviously, I started learning my accounting, etc. Because I had a knowledge, etc., about how I can translate this knowledge actually into the local culture and in line with the country, etc. And I'll learn all these things, obviously, while I was in the community centres in REC, KYP, and same, obviously. I got to know by Suhail when I was at the REC. His brother obviously used to learn English with me, and we both was like trying to improve our English and etc. He's mashallah a successful pharmacist working with ASDA, and he's doing mashallah a successful career. And I went into the business, so I run the successful business, and then after that I decided to come and to play my part in the community, to be as a normal member, and then also elected member as well. And thank you. And whenever I came to Deeplish Community Centre, it's very, very active when it comes to the recycling, any community issues and etc. Teaching English, especially with the elderly women, engaging with them health and issues, etc., and playing active role in improving the community health. Thank you very much, Vice Chair, and you playing vital roles in the community development. And please keep up the good work, and well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Arshad. I can witness that. You learning English and IT, going into business, working yourself, going to uni, retraining yourself. A very successful business, and of course a successful councillor, and of course now represent the community in this ward. So well done for your achievement. And we're so honoured to see your success and your participation in that. You know, when I do long speeches, it's always like food is late or something else. Today is really our 35th, and we're taking revised time, and I'm really, really cautious of that. Before I call, my board members are here. If, with your permission, of course, I will ask Brother Zaman to come forward and say thank you. And before that, I will request Honourable Lady, our Deputy Madam Mayor, Councillor Amzali, to say a few words on this occasion. Can we welcome Ayanet?
This has been a strange day. I'm sorry I missed the film. I've been at the funeral of a dear friend and council officer, Lauren Mason. So I couldn't see the film, but I will ask to see it. Perhaps a private viewing would be useful. What I do like about this occasion is that the people in the room around, I think virtually everybody that stood up to speak, I know you. From wherever you are and from whatever you do in this community centre, I know you from the community of Rochdale. This community centre has been, in my council experience, I started in 2014 as a councillor, and over the 10 years, I think one of my first experiences actually, Sohail, was here. When I came and I had a photograph taken with several people, Zaman, I think you were on that photograph, Sultan Ali, etc. Lots and lots of people, and I see some of them around the room now. Some of the things that have gone on at this centre to help women especially, and I've participated in the Talk English offer that's been here, and we've done a session with women talking about how women can be successful and how women can further their careers and or just generally their lives through culture and through participating in what's going on here. I'm really pleased to see ex-pupils here who are carrying on that cultural experience for you in this community centre. So 35 years, well, that's half my lifetime, basically. I don't think I'll be here for another 35 years, but I'm sure that this community centre will be. And the reason that it is here is for all the reasons that people have said. Paul said, mayors pass through. I'll be deputy mayor for a year, and then I'll be mayor for a year. Zaman's been mayor for a year. And you make an impact and you go around all the various places. But the constants are people like Sohail, the people that are volunteers, the people that are in the different community centres. I'm not going to start naming community centres, and I'm not going to start naming people, because if I do, I'll miss somebody out and they'll be upset. So, as I said, this is part of this community, and it's through people like yourself, Sohail, and through your volunteers that this community centre remains successful and is part of the community. When you were talking as well, Rick, you mentioned about cricket. We're actually stood, I think, on a badminton court. Yeah? You know, this room is used for all sorts of different reasons, and it's brilliant to be here and be part of it. Congratulations on your last 35 years. I will book the private booking, if you don't mind, Sohail. That would be really good. And thank you very much for inviting me. Pleasure to be here.
So many people, they will looking forward. We will have another session of viewing, and certainly we'll extend Deputy Madam Mayor's. And of course, we look forward for your mayoral year next year too. Without the help and support from the Historic England, it was impossible to unlock with cartwheels and partners, and of course our the founding members, the people who they made history. And like I said, every person in the community is a leader. Every person is a leader. So I fully believe. Without further ado, Jessica Shilton, can I ask to say a few words of working with us?
Hi everybody. I think unlike all of you, this is actually the first time I've stepped foot in this building or even been in this area, and I have to just say what a warm, lovely place filled with so much love. That's the main thing that you can really feel. It's clear it's such an integral part of the community, and Historic England, with our Everyday Heritage grants, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to reach out to communities like this and celebrate real heritage that's about people and place. So it's just been absolutely fantastic to be a small part of this, to help you celebrate your 35 years. Sohail, you've been so great to work with. It's one of the projects that I just know it's ticking over nicely. Everything's so well organised. It's been fantastic. But thank you so much for asking me to be here. And yeah, keep up the good work. It looks like such an integral part of your community. Thank you.
So Ansab, would you like to come over and say a few words, a vote of thanks, maybe, to the end, and then we'll have the Rubaiyat's performance and poetry.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. It's really nice to see so many people over here, some community user groups. And when I look at 35 years, it looks like yesterday. I used to come in the center, do youth work, and this indicates that life is very short, but during our lifetime, whatever activities we do, whatever we leave behind, that is what is going to remain here. The actual community center work did not start 35 years ago, but it was a lot of hard work before that as well. And it's when we unite, when community unites, when we cooperate, when we support each other, that is what is called one community that brings us all together. And that is the concept we see here, the one community, and we are a one community, regardless of our races, faith, or beliefs or whatever. I'm really grateful, Sohail and Management Committee, all our partners who actually made this project successful. And this is something a lot of people have told their stories, but there are so many untold stories we have not been able to actually mention here, but it actually is documented on this film, which is supported by Historic from your organization. Thank you ever so much, and all the partners. Before I finish, and I would like to mention two people. I think they might have been mentioned, but one of our caretaker, Mr. Latif, and Chaudhry Said Saab. They were really very motivating and inspiring, and they were always, the community center was deep down in their hearts. So I would like to pay tribute to them and all those who are not here today with us. And thank you very much all of you. I think it's difficult to, mention so many names or organizations. But once again, Suhail, thank you very much. And management committee members and all the partners who actually supported us on this project. And I hope your support is going to continue with us to make this community center viable and successful. Thank you ever so much. Thank you.
You heard thank you, Rizwan, thank you for remembering. I have on my list late Mr. Chaudhry Saeed, the list Mr. Chaudhry Munawwar Ali Shah, Kate Shah, Bashir Ansari Sahab, James Sahab and Latif. Ras Sahab used to travel from Liverpool, very great poet of Iqbal and Rumi. He was a scholar in UK. I don't think we have somebody like him ever. Late Iftikhar Kiani, great friend of Deeplish, a poet. And of course, our late Mrs. Naseem Aslam, who was working with Seamus and Rahela and Salma, she has left us. So, thank you for all my participants. Thank you to my really members who they have contributed in developing this film, making a lasting legacy and history for us. Thank you for my staffing team, from Zahid Saab to Hamza and his team, for coming last night and day before and setting things up. And Brother Amjad, right in the corner, so honorable, and of course Hafiz Karam Sahab, we run a successful transport project. And that transport wasn't for Rochdale, it was Greater Manchester. So within Shaw, the Partington, the North Manchester, the East Manchester, the Middleton, the Haywood, the Pennine, and the Shopper Link for Oldham. Amjad, well done for looking after the transport for 10-12 years, and that was an era before the tram network established. So Deeplish has been a leader in the Greater Manchester, and Amjad was, and of course Brother Server was moving spirit behind connecting people with places. In the time of late brother, our KYP's ex-CEO, Brother Ismail, he has a wonderful project of reaching out on a welfare project, a social project, which was linking people with the transport and the lunching clubs and the daycare centers. I think the Brother Ismail was keen to use the transport, and we did for 5 years, linking people with the places, enabling them who they were unable to travel due to the disability, due to accessibility, or due to the lack of transport. Yeah, so we continue breaking the barriers. But thank you for all that. I do apologize for the time, and I'm sure we will finish this nicely with the Rubaya's poetry and performance. So thank you. May I welcome Rubaya again.
I apologize for that because I didn't have the time for sound check, so I've increased the bass. So when I was performing earlier, I wasn't enjoying playing my guitar, so I'm hoping that it's fixed now. I've performed at festivals, at private gigs, at events for British Council, for Pakistan Council. So many different places, and I feel inspired today when I was listening to everybody and when I was watching this. My last conversation with Suhail was about Iqbal's poetry. Slightly better. So Iqbal, Allama Muhammad Iqbal, he studied in England, he did law, he went back to subcontinent, he was a poet, a revolutionary, and it was his dream, his poetry that changed the course, and it led to the partition of India and Pakistan. So there is a philosophy that Iqbal discusses, and it's called the philosophy of self, of being aware of your uniqueness and being able to implement that uniqueness, and how do How do you correlate with other people, with your personal, your personal strong points? So his son came to England to study, and he wrote this poem for his son. खुदी की जलवतों में मुस्तफाई खुदी की खिलवतों में किबरियाई ज़मीन व आसमान अर्श व कुर्सी खुदी की जलवतों में खुदनुमाई So the self in a gathering can make you a prophet. Self-awareness in loneliness can make you aware of divine. The universe, the cosmos, everything is revolving around the self. So you are the mini-universe. You are the micro-universe, and there is a macro-universe. And you connect to the macro-universe through the micro-universe. Dayare ishq mein apna maqam paida kar dayare ishq mein apna maqam paida kar naya zamana naye सुबह शाम पैदा कर On the journey of love, build a new world. Make your identity. Build your community. तेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फकीरी है मेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फकीरी है बेच गरीबी में नाम पैदा कर खुदी ना बेच गरीबी में नाम पैदा कर My path is that of a person who works hard. Don't sell yourself. Make a name with your limited resources. And I think today I saw that with Deeplish. Thank you very much. So So the next revolutionary that I'm going to talk about, his name is Bulle Shah. And Bulle Shah is a sage, and he fought against the class system of his time. And Bulle Shah's teacher was also a sage, but he was somebody from, you can say, a low class. He was a farmer, whereas Bulle Shah was from the priests, the class of the priests, the high class. So this is also celebrating your 35 years. Ajda roz mubarak chadhiya, Raja saade vede vadya, hath kundi munde kambal dhariya, chawali shakl badai, avoni 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 sayo avoni sayo ral devo vadai, मैं वर पाया राजा माही, आवोनी 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 आवोनी। बुल्ले शाह एक सौदा कीता, पीता जहर प्याला पीता, दर्द गमा वाली गठड़ी चाई, आवुनी सयो रन देवो वधाई। Thank you. So I'm good. It's an honor. Thank you very much, Rochdale. I've performed here quite a few times now, and every single time I've received a lot of love. And I always see a lot of harmony between people from different backgrounds, which is great to see. Unfortunately or fortunately, in Derby we still have to go a long way, but you know, fingers crossed. I think it's a good model. That's what I was thinking, and I think living like I'm originally born and raised in London, and I moved to Derby I think about 10 years ago. I've just seen the mayor of my city only once, and I was like, wow, this is great. I mean, they get to see the mayors. Wow. So the last song, and join in if you know it. Doom ta na 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 na, doom ta na 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 na, tera mera mera tera, doom ta na 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 na, चार चराग तेरे बलन हमेशा, पंजवा में बालड़ आई पला झूले लालण, सिंधड़ी दाल से पड़दा सखी शाबाज कलंदर, दमादम मस्त कलंदर, अली दम दम दे अंदर,
हुसैनी 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 लाल कलंदर उचड़ा रोजा पीरा तेरा उचड़ा रोजा पीरा तेरा हेठ बहे दरिया पलो झूले लालण सिंधड़ी दा से बड़ दो सभी शाबाश कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर हुसैनी 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 लाल कलंदर गाना बाजे बाजे नाल बजे घड़े आल बलो झूले लालण सिंधड़ी दा से बड़ दो सखी शाबाश कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर हुसैनी 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 लाल कलंदर दमादम मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर हुसैनी लाल कलंदर सखी शाहबाज कलंदर दमादम 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 मस्त कलंदर अली दम दम दे अंदर हुसैनी लाल कलंदर झूले लाल झूले लाल झूले 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 लाल. Thank you.
Rubaya, thank you very much for this very beautiful, very relevant and appropriate ending. Right, okay, how can I thank you? I have found one person in the hall who can say thank you to you. And I certainly know the person who inspired a Deeplish garden, planted a one apple tree, and then from the apple tree we grew up whole garden, and then from the garden we started doing art and vegetable and fruit. And last week, the Deeplish was sharing the stage with Andy Burnham in promoting carbon footprint, literacy, recycling, and many others. So can I call Bushra Sultana from Culture Co-op to say a few words, to say thank you to our friend Rubaya. Thank you.
expecting this, but I was inspired to create the community garden just because of Sahil and the community centre and what a beautiful soul this man is and what he does for the community. And that's it really, and thank you, Rabaya.